We do see these mangonels in prime position, though. Getting a beautiful shot. That is a huge amount of damage there. The Springalds retaliate, firing back. They don't quite take one out, though. Back once again, we have Smooth Operator playing as his favorite and the only civilization I think exists. It's the Abbasid dynasty. And hopefully we're going to see some interesting things coming out from him once again. He's been a source of inspiration in my games on the ranked ladder. So yeah, let's see who his opponent is today. They are playing the Ottomans, which I must say is something I am not too well versed with. So we'll see how it goes. But I know the basics of the Civ to get us through a little casted game. And this is Poggers, who I believe is Beastie Cutie. So, you know, top 1, top 2 on the ladder. Very, very strong opponent for our Abbasid player. So we'll see how he does. Hope everyone's doing well. There's been an awful lot of action in the Age of Empires scenes community recently. We've had a ton of tournaments. We've still got some ongoing and some upcoming. King of the North is not this weekend, but the next weekend. So the 12th of July, I believe. And that's a LAN tournament hosted in Bergen. So definitely check that one out when it comes out. I'll leave some links below. I believe there's also top team tournament hosted by Steel Series and Warman. And I think that's ongoing. I've caught a few games from last weekend. I think they're still in the qualifying stage, or at least the early stages of the tournament. So yeah, plenty of esports Age of Empires 4 content. And I'm going to bring you a little bit more of it in this game. We see the House of Wisdom going up for pink. Abbasid looks pretty good in the pink, doesn't it? Not too bad. I don't know what... I was thinking about this the other day. What colour Abbasid is. Because I feel like each Civ probably has an ideal colour that looks best on them. I would say with Ottoman, probably green. They've got a green flag. It kind of makes sense, right? But the Abbasid flag is black, so you can't really use their flag colour to go off of. When I play, I tend to use orange. I think orange looks pretty good on Abbasid. I imagine teal isn't too bad, but, you know, like English, it's red, right? English is red. French, Jeanne d'Arc, it's blue. Maybe teal. Maybe you could get away with teal on the French. But yeah, what do you think? What would Abbasid colour be? Or if you have any other specific colours you would associate with certain civs, let me know. Let me know down below. Sultan Hani Trade Network coming up for Poggers for Beastie. So usually we see the twin minaret madrasa from Ottomans, which acts as a mill, spawns little berry bushes out the front, and they actually gather quicker. So we'll see something different this time. And this is a market. It garrisons 3 traders, and they will passively generate gold per minute. You can have up to 10. So I think each, so that's up to 240 gold per minute just passively from this landmark once it's fully saturated with traders. So pretty nice upgrade there. We'll see how Poggers looks to use that one. We do see the military wing coming up from Smooth Operator. Fairly standard, so not deviating from the standard Abbasid play just yet. And we do see many workers on the stone, so he will be looking for a nice fast second TC. Is well on his way to the stone already. We do see the military units pop out, 2 spearmen, 2 archers, and they will make their way over to the Cyan Ottoman base. Probably looking for some gold, but sadly, no gold being taken. Does look like Cyan is also grabbing a second TC at some point. I think he will be about on par with Smooth Operator. I think he's going to be a bit ahead, actually. He already has the wood, whereas pink is lagging behind a little. We'll see where this ends up. He's got the stone in the bank, just needs a little more wood now. And there's some good places. If he wants to get the berries, he could always put a TC down here. But I probably want to protect something a bit more. He does have a nice channel here through the wood lines. Very easy to defend, nice and defensible. The military units did just decide not to go on the aggressive and are instead pushing this deer pack back towards the base of pink. Plenty of workers on wood now. I imagine these will all get pulled to put the TC down. And it is going down just between these two wood lines. So a very defensible spot for both players here. This is Lipany, and actually not too bad of a map spawn. We've got a few cliff faces around the edge. Sometimes Lipany can be very one-sided. Yeah, both teams getting a fairly decent defensible point. There is a rather large front opening, actually, for pink, which the Ottomans do not have. Their front entrance is a lot more easily walled off and defended. 2 TCs now up with a ton of workers still on wood, so possibly looking to get some military production down. We do see an archery range. Interestingly, no military academies coming down. Military schools. I think it's a military school, isn't it? And then it's the Imperial Armory, I think, is one of their age ups. Blacksmith, archery range. The blacksmith does have an influence for the Ottomans. It will increase the production rate of military buildings within its influence. So definitely looking to activate those. And I'm sure we will see the military schools coming online soon. They provide free training, free unit production, just at the cost of a slightly longer training time. Pink scouting the back end of the Ottomans base does see the blacksmith and the archery range, so he will know what's coming, potentially, as we do see a stable thrown down as well. Let's check over with Pink. Second TC working nicely. Is a few workers behind. He was a little later on the second TC, so that's where that difference is coming in. Obviously, no aggression from either team just yet. Either side just yet. We do see double archery range coming down now for Pink. That is going to get pretty swiftly countered by any of the units out of the stables. We do see it move on to a bit more stone. Now, this could just be for the 2 or 3 military schools that the Ottomans are allowed per age. I think it's 2. They can use their vizier points to add capacity for more military schools. Unfortunately, with the observer view, we're not able to see what vizier points he spends, where he spends his vizier points, I should say. So yeah, we'll have to see where that goes. We do have the Sipahi coming out now. These are the Ottomans' unique variant of the horseman, and they have a little bonus activatable ability here. They gain increased attack speed, and they receive extra damage. So very good at raiding these ones. Send them into the enemy's villager wood lines, pick off a load of villagers as quickly as possible, and then get the hell out of there. Blacksmith coming down for Pink. So both players eventually looking to put on a bit of military pressure, but for now it's very passive. Both players just teching up. No one particularly aging up just yet. I don't think we see the Abbasid age up coming through. He is in fact throwing down more production, so just looking to build up his spearman archer composition. Will do very well into the stable archery range coming out from the Ottomans. Just one Sipahi on the field, so maybe a bit of a bait. Show the Sipahi to the Pink player and hope that he overreacts by throwing down a ton of barracks and building a load of spearmen that he ends up not needing, which is something we could actually see here. We'll have to keep an eye on that, how that goes, and how many Smooth Operator decides to throw into the mix. The spearman, that is. He did just get the upgrade to the standard spearman rather than the Dark Age spearman, so they are now hardened rather than regular spearmen. You will get a glimpse here of the Sipahi. It is still just the single one on the field. And we do see the meta coming out from the Ottomans, and this is a unit that has a lot of buffs for the military units. So once that pops out, we'll take a look at that, see what kind of thing they do. We see the tower coming down, and I was about to say that indicates that Poggers is looking for the castle age. And in fact, here it is. It's the Mehmed Imperial Armory, or the MIA as people shorten it to. And this produces siege. So for free, it is the siege equivalent of the military school. You'll be able to toggle different siege units and they will pop out for free, no cost. They just take an extraordinarily long time to produce. So I think what Pink's looking to do here in this little window where there's not many units on the field for the Ottomans is really strike and do a good amount of damage. Reduce this worker count, increase his lead on worker count. He doesn't actually have a lead, so first create a lead and then increase it. As he does move in now, as the camera jolts to the right for some reason, the archers teeing off against the enemy archers. We do see the double upgrades in for Smooth Operator, so his archers are going to be an awfully lot more potent, as we do see he's taking minimal losses while also taking out most of the archers for the Ottoman player. And something that is good about being aggressive onto the Ottomans is, yes, their units are free, but they tend to have reduced regular production buildings, and these take a long time to produce. So he's got this one set to Sipahi. I don't think we can actually... so this has a minute 44 left on the timer, so it's about a minute 50 for one of those Sipahi to come out, and he is training from both of them. So if you can get this military count down, you can quickly snowball the military advantage that you do have. Is losing a couple of archers here, is not able to pick off a villager, has only managed to pick off one in this initial engagement, so definitely not doing as much damage as he would have liked. He is amassing an army again outside the base, and as we can see, the military values are far superior for Pink, well over double the amount of military mass, but we do have the tech advantage showing here now as we have our first Lancer out. The Spearman numbers plenty to dissuade any sort of Lancer engagement for now though, as we do have the Eco Wing coming up. So Smooth Operator looking to match Poggers in the Castle Age and does just back off from that initial aggression. Some nice walls coming in from both players just to block off all the haters from getting around to the flanks. It is going to be a bit of a long exposed wall if he does decide to open up this area here, but probably would be more wise to use the wood lines as we see him pop one right in front of the screen now. So that'll be a nice little wall off for him. And we don't actually see Poggers looking for any sort of raids or flanked play at the moment. He has popped down a mosque, so some relics are on the way in for Poggers, and Smooth Operator will be a little bit behind on that, so we might see Ottomans pick up a few more relics than his opponent. We'll have to see how that one plays out. Military count still in favor of Smooth Operator, about double now, so definitely would not want to take a fight at the moment. That is the Ottoman player. He does have the meta on the field. Let's see if we can click one of these. So they can toggle on different buffs for nearby units. So they have 15% attack speed. They have increased melee armor by 2 or increased range armor by 1. And we do see a little engagement coming in. Right now, the Spearman, I don't know what's going on here. Trying to charge past all the Spearmen. Does lose a couple of cavalry there. The Knights are going to make their way into the villager lines of Pink, but I don't think they're going to do much damage here. The army is on their heels. The villagers have already gone out of there, and they are now going to be trapped in this back corner of the map, which is very much owned by Pink. Has found some exposed villagers, gets a charge off on 3 of them, but no villagers going down. The army of Pink is chasing these knights into the corner of the map, and they should get cleaned up eventually. So quite a big loss there for Poggers, charging almost blindly through the center of the map. Took a couple of losses before even realizing what was going on the hillside here, as we do see the mosque coming up for Smooth Operator. So should be able to grab probably just one relic, actually, as we do see the second closest to him get picked up by our Ottoman player. Does have 2 already sat in the mosque with another 2 on the way. So the gold, passive gold income, definitely going to be in favor. I apologize, I didn't switch this over to villagers at the start of the game, but now we can see the overall income per minute for both players. So well ahead, well over 300, give or take, gold per minute ahead. But a substantial army here for pink. And I do feel like the Ottomans has kind of played into the Abbasid's hands here. Maybe he was hoping to strike a bit of damage with the tech upgrade and the free siege, but Smooth Operator has done an excellent job of booming very well. His resources are nice and low. He's spending everything that's coming in. He's got a big army on the field, lots of production, and all he needs now is a little bit of siege to just accompany this very large infantry army here. He will need some siege to take out these mangonels. They're really the only problem that I can see Smooth Operator having at the moment. Just seeing this sacred site down here. This is interesting position. Very easy to... I think you can probably not get up this bit, but could easily wall this off and have another source of passive gold for the Ottoman player if he did want to secure that one. As he does secure up the sacred site to the northwest, I guess. The army moving around to this side as well, possibly looking for a bit of a flank play. Knock down this wall, send in some of the gold and the food, because at this point I think the Abbasid is just going to overrun. He's going to have a lot more production coming in, a lot more economy coming in. We see double the food income at the moment, but that is kind of evened out through the wood and gold count that we see coming from Poggers. Small mobile army moving around, just scouting the map. Does not want to run into this very heavy spearman line, but we'll now see the full extent of the army that's coming to greet him at his gates. Loses a couple of units there, not catching the army moving up in time. A bit unfortunate there, losing some of the precious army that he has. We do see these mangonels in prime position though, getting a beautiful shot of that. Is a huge amount of damage there. The Springalds retaliate, firing back. They don't quite take one out though. Zoom the camera back out and we see these 2 armies clash. It does look like the Ottomans has managed to build his army count a little, not quite doubled in number, as we see the 3 mangonels firing their shots off into the meat of the melee army of the pink. But the Springalds have done their job. There was no counter to the Springalds, so the mangonels fire a few shots off, which is getting some good damage, but eventually the Springalds have worn those down, and Pink's army can start working through the mass of the Ottomans. We'll have to take a look at the Ottoman production after this fight, and we'll see which one of these players is going to be able to mass their units quicker, as the archers do strike down all of the archers of the Ottomans. I imagine we saw... I'm just going to have a look here. We did not see composite bows coming down, so I guess he didn't have enough archers that he thought it was necessary. He had more of a strong count of crossbowmen. The spearmen working their way into the villager lines just to cause some idle time. Not a breach too deep into the base just yet. We do see decent production coming out from Ottomans. Quite a few stables, quite a few archery ranges, so should be able to remass reasonably quickly, but does seem to be struggling to take down the remaining army from Pink, as we do see Pink also re-maxing at the back. Did manage to get a few villager kills, and this will really impact the rate of resupply of that army count. Good damage on the board from Pink. 11,000 to just under 10,000. So definitely up on that count. Is looking to get a couple more worker kills. And he has pulled ahead here. I wonder if we see a third TC coming in. I don't see one on the map, so must just be due to the villagers he's killed, as Poggers finally cleans up the army that was in his base. Sadly for him, a second army has appeared on the horizon and is starting to knock on the gates, as is a keep. Very, very aggressive keep here. It's just going to secure up some berries, this deer pack as well as a stone. And this will just allow Pink to get a lot more resources very easily, with also putting pressure on to the Ottomans. And his wood actually not in the best place. He has cut through almost his first one and is now working on the second one. If this keep was positioned just a little bit further up, he would have been able to deny this entire wood line here. And as he has map control, probably would have denied this one too, which probably would have sealed the deal very quickly for him. There are a few exposed wood lines to the south, which Poggers is making good use of. So I guess he's not too worried about the wood income for the time being. The snipers on the backside taking out some spearmen of Pinks there. We do see the army values aren't too dissimilar. There's about 13, 14 more, as a bunch more units do get popped out. And it's a mainly Gulam spearman army with not too much backline worked in actually, which may end up being detrimental, as he is looking for these villagers down here. He sees the tower. That's indicative that there's probably some people who want protecting by that tower, and he has now in fact spotted these. The wall's going to have to be deleted, else he's going to lose a lot more of these villagers. He is losing a few. Has he lost any yet? These are very tanky villagers, absolutely full of holes now, but they do actually manage to survive. So a very nice escape there by Beastie and his villagers, as we see his slow moving army moving to this northwesterly point. A weak point, I suppose. He is now cutting off as many resources from the Ottoman player as possible. No more access to the boar there. And he's pushing out into these spearman line. He's going to lose quite a few Sipahi there. And not trading too favorably back in his favor. He does have the Janissaries on the back line now. These are the gunpowder unit for the Ottomans. They do bonus damage against cavalry. So yeah, pretty nice there. They actually receive increased range damage. So BC just really acknowledging that the army from the Abbasid is mainly melee. So that extra damage from ranged shouldn't be too much of a hindrance for a large Janissary force. Some stone being mined, some stone walls coming in. Definitely wants to secure up all of this wood that he has on this corner, along with the gold as well. And we see some trade as well being worked in. Maybe BC feeling like he's in a bit of a pinch here and is going to need that trade income sooner rather than later if he continues to not have map dominance and lose the resources that are available on the map. A fight coming in. The Springles pick off, I believe, one of the mangonels. The trebuchet was firing on the keep that's to the north. But the Springle numbers definitely in favor here for our Ottoman player. But the mangonels as well going to do a lot of damage. They don't do bonus damage to melee units. But, you know, it's still big area of effect damage. We do see some archers moving in here. Big move in for Pink. It just doesn't look like he has the force. But a panic keep being dropped down here by an awful lot of villagers. I don't know how many are here. Got to be like 40 of them, right? He is going to lose quite a few. He's up to 42 workers killed by the Pink player, which is definitely having a big impact on the eco of the Ottoman player. And feeling the eco loss that he's had throughout this game, our Ottoman player does tap out. Another excellent game from Smooth Operator. Mimi in the post-game lounge to discuss this game. Hey, welcome into the post-game lounge. That was a nice one for the Abbasid. Any Abbasid fans? That was a good one to watch. That's kind of what happens when you just leave Abbasid alone. There were really no raids coming in. We saw one with those 3 knights that got very swiftly cleaned up by Pink. Just allowed to boom, really, which is great to see, very fun to see. Huge infantry mass coming in. Always love those kind of battles. There's a little fly flying around my room, interrupting my video. Anyway, so yeah, some things to take from that one into our ranked ladder games, and to watch out for against us. The idle time caused in the early game was really significant. Actually, I rewatched the first little portion of the game just to get the thumbnail screenshot, and what I noticed was, although he hadn't killed many workers in the first engagement, Pink against Cyan, that is, I think it was only 1 kill, he caused an awful lot of idle time, which then compounds over time and allows him to get all of those military units back a lot faster than the Ottoman player. We also mentioned how the military schools and the Imperial Armory, yes, remember Imperial Army, MIA, very slow to produce units, although they're free, but yeah, very slow to produce, so difficult to remass after losing a significant engagement. So yeah, the other points, Ottomans very slow to ramp up. I think if you are an Ottoman player, gotta get some Sipahi out early, try and get on the harass, get on the aggressive, slow your opponent down. As we did see here, they just got overrun, really. 25-minute game, I think that was, but looked fairly over, sort of 15 minutes in, maybe. The military mass just building and building for Abbasid, which we love to see on this Abbasid channel. It's not an Abbasid channel, but I play them, so I know the most about them. I think that's kind of why I lean towards casting their games most. Yeah, but overall, great game, great map control by Abbasid, great boom, really efficient, spending resources really well, and using them where it counts. Thanks for watching. If you did like this video, you know what to do, and subscribe if you want to see some more in the future. If you want to see some more right now, I'll be linked right here. See you later.